Dracula!
What's up, everybody out there in YouTube land? Wrath2501 here. Alright guys, so it's time for another episode of ranking every MvM weapon. This one is Medic. So this video is basically for Hatless in our group, because he's the designated medic. Alright, so let's see what he's got to say about the medic weapons. I mean, there aren't really a lot, but, you know. So, oh yeah, and this is by, what was his name again? Wheezy TF2, that's right. Okay, so let's get started and go.
What are Medic's best and worst weapons in MvM? What are Medic's best and worst weapons in MvM? You thought it never happened, did you? Well, honestly, neither did I. But times change, experience grows, and I figured it was time to give the people what they want. What they really, really want. It's been a while, so let's recap the rules. This is a two-city-centric tier list. It's being made from the perspective of a solo queuing player, and each weapon is ranked in accordance with their respective weapon slots. So yes, needle guns and mediguns will be in the same tiers. No, this does not mean they're equally as good as each other. Alright, after 4 long months, let's finally do it. The stock melee weapon in D tier. It's all coming back to me now. Like much of the other classes, you only really want the melee weapon for the extra utility it provides, and the stock bonesaw has none. It does do the most damage of all of his melees though, so if nothing's attacking you, everyone's topped off on overheal, you're not running a syringe gun, there's no sentry buster in play, and a tank is simultaneously trudging through the field, then fine. In those specific situations, the bonesaw is the best option. But if one very, very niche scenario was all it took to escape D tier wouldn't exist. The Soul and Vow is the shittily copied homework of the Bonesaw with a few spelling errors mixed in to differentiate it. I mentioned in the heavy tier list how the Holiday Punch was the only weapon to have its main feature obstructed in MvM, and while that's not technically true here, if there was ever a silver medal to give out, the Soul and Vow would take it home. Everyone can already see the health of the giants by default, and while the Soul and Vow is unique in its ability to see small robot HP, who cares?
Yeah,
that's like giving Goombas a health bar and pretending it helps.
Exactly.
Another melee, another meaningless upside. The Amputator gives you more health regen while you have it active. Why would it be active? Oh, that's right, to use the AoE heal taunt, which is not good, like, at all. If my health is in the red, the last thing I want to see is my medic holding his melee weapon out like a complete bitch. But hey, maybe you can play me a sad song on the world's smallest violin right after I fucking die. The only time I can see this melee being a game changer is if you have 2 or more organs, you're using the vaccinator, you're pushed back to last, and you need emergency damage mitigation to save the wave. Yeah, you may have noticed that if I have to formulate hypotheticals to find use out of a weapon, it isn't very good. You shouldn't have to killbind to benefit from all your swinging when the Ubersaw builds uber faster and doesn't impose such a restriction. Like in casual, there's really no reason to prefer it. The Blitzauger's niche just isn't really that great. It cuts your passive health regen to just 1 HP per second, and unlike the Amputator, this persists even when the weapon isn't active. This is for the added benefit of getting 3 health back on hit, which, while easy given the clutters of hitboxes on your screen, isn't an effect worth putting away your medigun for the vast majority of the time. Although it has those moments where it can help you tank enough damage to escape a dangerous situation, I don't believe that's as useful as maintaining your standard health regen, so for that reason, I think the Blitzauger is the worst primary. You can't get more average than the stock syringe gun. Its only claim to fame is the ability to apply Mad Milk syringes like the other needle guns. But wait, you said... I know, but on reflection, you guys do make some pretty good points. Outside of that though, it doesn't really have much use. But medic primaries are mostly irrelevant anyways, so this one not doing anything special, it's not the worst thing in the world. None of the mediguns are terrible in MvM, and that's mostly thanks to the canteen spec upgrade making up for lackluster areas, but out of all of them, I think the stock medigun is the weakest. Every other medigun above it has some really cool tech that you can take advantage of, whereas the stock medigun is just fine. Invincibility isn't the game-winning playmaker that it normally is outside of MvM, and having the slowest uber build rate doesn't really help matters. All the other mediguns have payoffs that can usually get the job done just as well or better, with faster charging times alongside it. It's not bad on the healing and survivability ends of things, but it grants your team the least offensive prowess of any of the mediguns, and for that reason, it's held back significantly.
Because this guy doesn't like defensive capabilities, he's just all
Of all three
offense all the
syringe
time.
guns, I believe the Overdose to be the best because it has an actual, realistic benefit to it. Sure, you lose 1 damage point off each needle, but the extra movement speed you receive in relation to your uber percentage is pretty useful, especially on later waves when uber generation is more frequent. Yeah, the speed boost only comes into play when the weapon is active, but in cases where there are no teammates around or times where falling back takes precedence over healing your team, the Overdose is a direct upgrade in helping you do so. And it too can apply Mad Milk syringes, which can be useful. Just because you guys moved on this one doesn't mean I'm moving on Air Blast Force, alright? I won't be convinced.
Air Blast works.
When used properly, the Vaccinator has the best survivability traits of any medigun, and because of that, it's the go-to option for some medic players when queued into below average teams. With how insane the damage resistance is, combined with the 10% passive mitigation to your selected damage type, this allows your power classes to play more aggressively without the risk of death. Sure, the stock medigun allows for this too, but the Vaccinator only depleting a quarter of its uber charge rather than the whole thing makes it a much better deal for you if things go awry. And on occasions where things do go badly, using an uber charge while reviving a teammate brings them back instantaneously, a godsend on the earlier waves. The uber charge also gives you full crit immunity on top of the damage resistance, which can make all the difference if your shield is on cooldown. It might not have the blatant power upgrades of the others, but it's the king of keeping your team alive and fighting. The Quick Fix has this reputation for being the worst medigun in MvM, and if you use it in the same way you would any other medigun, there's a good argument for that, but I'm here to make it known that with just a little bit of a shift in playstyle, the Quick Fix is not only viable, but in my opinion, probably the most underrated weapon in the entirety of MvM. The Uber Charge, though not technically invulnerability, may as well be for how tanky you become with it. Early wave crits and spy bots are really your only threats. It also allows for instantaneous revives, just like the Vaccinator, and nullifies all knockback, which is fantastic for body blocking and maintaining maximum damage ramp up. All of this with 10% faster uber generation. Now that's all well and good, but the Quick Fix has something that no other medigun has. 40% faster healing rate. This obviously helps with tanking more damage, getting your teammates back up to full, and generally faster revives, but by far the best feature of that added healing is being able to generate shields much more frequently than any other medigun. Like, it's not even close. Now you can use them defensively and protect your team and, you know, be a little bitch, but I personally like to go in with the Shield Bash medic strat. It is surprisingly effective.
Yeah.
The goal is to have your shield active and in the robot's face as much as possible, which is 150 DPS per robot hit with the shield, along with very little threat to yourself when positioned properly. I'm not kidding when I say you'll have a shield up with the Quick Fix more often than you won't. Now, you're gonna want a decent amount of knowledge of each mission before you try this. Nothing's worse than losing a shield for a crit soldier barrage because you wanted 400 damage on some miniature scouts. But when played properly, you can match some of the damage classes on your team. If you're gonna try it, I'd recommend Canteen Spec to get your damage boosts in, and more Overheal to help with even faster shield charges. But yeah, it's really underrated. Honestly, the Crusaders being an S tier is more of a testament to how close in utility medics primaries are in MvM because honestly, it's not that amazing. You can heal from really long range, so in situations where you're too far for your Medibeam to reach, it is your best tool, and it can knock out a sniper or two if need be. But despite its more lackluster utility, I still think it has more general application than any of the needle guns.
The Uber
While the
Saw,
title of
course.
Best Primary doesn't really hold any weight, the title of Best Melee certainly does. The Uber Saw is by far and away Medic's best melee weapon. Hell, this thing could have its swing speed nerfed by like 500% and it'd still probably be the best. 4 swings, full Uber, no questions asked. And this is very easy to achieve thanks to Sentry Busters acting as Uber batteries. And that's not even mentioning the Buster glitch in certain spots, which is... What the fuck? This is too many!
What the hell? What the crap? What happened?
Yeah, really good. You can even upgrade the swing speed, which gives you full Uber in like 2 seconds. Honestly, this shouldn't even be possible with how much it breaks the game, but then again, this is an upgrade, so what are you gonna do?
Exactly,
None of the Medic's melee weapons come even remotely close to the Uber Saw. I'd argue it's borderline essential to being an effective Medic.
The Crits
The
Krieg,
Quick Fix may make Medic an offensive powerhouse, but the Crits Krieg makes your entire team an offensive powerhouse. Insta-kill sticky traps, Brass Beast laser beams, flog chains on tanks, full airstrike barrages, and best of all, Crit Thompson, baby, let's fucking go. Its simplicity is what makes it so appealing. You can keep your shield bashing, you can keep your invincibility, you can keep your instant revives, because you don't need any of that when everything fucking dies instantly.
Especially
and when combined with the Uber Saw and Canteen Specialist, your brain will trick itself into thinking pink is the weapon's default color. There's a reason why everyone swears by the Crits Krieg, and that's because it's very clearly the best. That's it for the tier list, but wait, don't leave. Alright, this will be fast. First, I have a poll on my community tab about cheaters and MvM. If you could vote on it, I'd really appreciate it. It's for a future video. Second, Ukraine is kind of fucked right now. So this weekend, March 19th to March 20th, I'm gonna be a part of a multi-day MvM streaming event to help raise money for Ukraine. It's gonna feature other content creators like Solarlight, DeWill, Samwiz, HoovyTube, Interstellus, JPEG, among others. I'll direct you to the streams on both my community tab and Twitter when they're going live, so look out for those. Even if you can't donate, just promoting the streams will really help. Okay. Now you can leave.
It's nice
Thanks for watching the video, guys.
Stuff like that.
See ya.
Okay, so as you saw right there, he already has the bigger picture of a curious case of cheating in MvM. Why the hell are you cheating MvM? I don't get that. Anyway, so guys, there you go. I'm pretty sure, if I recall, Hatless already has that loadout. He uses the crossbow, the Uber Saw, and the Crits Krieg. Pretty much, you know, there you go. Awesome. All S tier. That's why Hatless is our S tier healer. I mean, the guy. Every game we go in that has a healer class, Hatless is there doing the heals. You know, we've all got our thing. And yeah, it is awesome. You know, like when we're doing the 666, and Hatless is just pumping crits into me when I'm soldier, and just like watch the health bar in that friggin' tank. Just gone. Anyway. Hope you guys enjoyed that, and yes, I do still disagree with him on Air Blast Force, because that is just so much fun in MvM. Air Blast is hilarious, especially when you've got some asshole big heavy who's protected by a bunch of medics, and he jumps down, and then you blast the medics away, and they're just like and he's all by himself, and he gets shredded by your team. Or even better is when they drop down and you blast him back past the start, so he's all the way back there having to come back slowly, and the medics are just standing there just like, oh shit. It's like hilarious because they're just standing there with nothing to do. They're like, shit. It's funny. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Like this video, subscribe. Definitely click on the link to the original down in the description. Get down to Wheezy's channel, like the original, and sub to him over there. I will see you guys next time. Tune in every day for new content. Bye-bye.